So before we actually get into the episode, I just wanted to go ahead and apologize a bit because some of the audio in this episode cuts out occasionally and sounds like a bit watery, so to speak. That's not really the best description. But that's kind of what it sounded like to me when I was listening back over it, and I'm really sorry about that, but I wasn't necessarily able to fix it. I fixed as much as I could, but I do apologize. I think it's still possible to hear what's being said overall, but it's not like the best quality. But I do apologize for that. I will definitely work on that for the future and definitely be better. I think it's like with the interference because of the fact that I had like 2 other guests on this episode, so I think that played a part in it with like the connection stuff. But I do apologize for that. Either way, I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and thanks for listening. Enjoy. Hi everyone, welcome back to Dara. It's the season finale of season 3, and I'm really excited for today's episode because I have 2 special guests, and how I told you guys last week that this week's episode will be like a special episode. Like I said before, I'm just really excited for it. Excited for the topic as well. As you can tell by its title, we're talking about cancel culture, and now I will go ahead and let my guests introduce themselves.
Cool. Hi, guys. I'm Aditi.
And I'm Sanchita.
And we are from JusTeenz. We have a podcast that explores the lives of teenagers.
Yep. And you guys can find us on Instagram at JusTeenz.official. And we're on a bunch of platforms. You can check out our link tree. And we're so excited to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Yep.
Of course. I'm excited to join me because I love their podcast, and I definitely encourage you guys to go and listen to it as well. I definitely think it's really interesting. And yeah, so like I said, I'm excited that you guys joined me. Mm-hmm. And per usual, I have like a few prompts we'll go through and we'll all like answer them.
Okay.
What cancel culture actually is. Basically, it's when, let's say, someone who's like in the limelight, influencer or a politician or anything like that, when they do something that is maybe quote like offensive or bad, so to speak, or like when they just kind of like mess up and it like may possibly offend a lot of people. In a sense, it's like social media and society kind of like cancels.
Mm-hmm.
People stop like buying things from them, or like maybe people stop listening to them, watching shows that they're in, different things like that. So we're just gonna kind of explore that in today's episode, kind of like talk about that. So the first prompt is, being that in a sense that all 3 of us are kind of like mini influencers, have you guys ever been afraid to get quote canceled? So I'm gonna go ahead and answer this first, but for me, I think, yeah, like I definitely have. I talked about it like in the episode that I did about cultural appropriation, like how I but then I decided to delete it because like I didn't want to get canceled, because not like I said anything that was like bad or anything. It's just like I was kind of like scared at that point, and so it's like, yeah, like I'm just kind of like afraid that like I'm gonna say the wrong thing and then like no one's ever gonna like want to listen to my podcast anymore. Like now that I do have like a podcast now, like I have to be more careful with things I say in school as well. Like, and I feel like this kind of makes it seem as if like, oh, I'm a bad person now. I'm like not gonna say some things of what like I truly feel like, or but it's not that. It's just that I feel like sometimes like even if like I didn't mean anything bad by it, it's like maybe some people can like take it as offensive, and I just like don't want to do that. So I think I'm definitely kind of more afraid, like not more, but like yeah, I've definitely been afraid to get quote canceled. So
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. Like, we're not like Addison Rae level like influencers or whatever. But like it's still like there's so many incorrect things, like politically incorrect things that you could say, and you could say it in a way that you didn't mean it, but like it just came out that way.
Right.
And there's always that like overwhelming fear that, oh, if I say this, will this offend this person? Will it offend that person? You know, it's just, yeah.
Right, of course. And then there's like different audiences too. And having like a podcast, like I'm sure you can also relate to it. There are so many people that would like listen to us, and you don't want to like offend anybody, right? So it's just, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we all agree and have that consensus that like we've all definitely been like afraid to get canceled, just like because you don't want to ever say the wrong thing. I feel like that just kind of goes for everyone.
Right.
Like you don't. But yeah, so the next prompt is, how do you feel about cancel culture in regards to canceling those who are hateful, whether through ways of racism, homophobia, sexism, or xenophobia, etc.? So I would definitely say that I feel like I've always kind of thought, like, saying, looking at cancel culture, not like necessarily like in a bad way, but I was like, oh, like I feel like it kind of like does a lot of like not does a lot of bad things, but like I never really necessarily like willing to participate in it or whatever. But at the same time, it's like I feel like if someone is clearly doing something bad, like I said before, whether it's racist, homophobic, sexist, or xenophobic or misogynistic or anything like that, I think that definitely like deserves like because it's like you're clearly offending people, and that's not even just like, oh, that's my opinion. It's like you can't, like, I feel like if your opinion is hateful or rude to anyone in any way, then it doesn't necessarily get to be served as like, oh, my opinion or whatever. Always at the same time, even with that freedom of speech, it's like you can't like go into a movie theater and yell fire, because I'm pretty sure that's like
Right.
or something. Yeah, you can't do that. So it's like there's obviously limitations with that, and it's like if you're just using your freedom of speech to be offensive to people, say that in that regard, I think that it's warranted.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you because canceling someone can be like it can have like really bad effects too because if you canceled someone for like the wrong reasons, then it can basically ruin their like whole career. But on the other hand, canceling someone for like something as extreme as like things like racism and stuff, it would definitely be I don't know, I guess like a good thing to cancel someone because it's like a good way to tell them what they did wrong.
Yeah.
Um, and then they can also know about like their actions and how that affected the public.
That I feel like I see more like pros in it than cons because I feel like it's a good way to hold people accountable for their actions. Because a lot of them like to use the excuse like, oh, like no, but it was like 2010 and everybody was saying it. Like, bro, that doesn't matter. You said what you said, you know, like, and then it also shows like a person's true character. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you did something wrong, then just apologize and like, you know,
Learn from your mistakes.
exactly take accountability. But some people don't do that, and it shows like really like, oh, like this is the person I've been supporting for so long, and it helps you be accountable too.
Yeah, I agree with both of what you guys said. It helps people to take responsibility for their own like feedback on it, and like people just act as if it's okay and realize that maybe what they said or what they did was actually wrong and could really offend people. Keep going on and like saying it or doing it or whatever it is. So
Mm-hmm.
So now to the next prompt, which is when people are canceled for a plausible cause, how does it make you feel when people continue to defend them? For example, Bill Cosby and R. Kelly with their numerous sexual assault allegations as well as other accusations. Okay, so like on this one, I feel so strongly and passionate about this, especially with these two examples and a lot of different, like a lot of other people. Really pisses me off and irks me when like I'm like when someone is like, oh, but like, oh, I like their music.
Mm-hmm.
Cosby Show was so good. It's like, okay, cool. Like, you like their music, cool. The Cosby Show was a good show. I'm not going to take that away. But it's like at the same time, defending these people for what they've done. And
Literally.
yeah, and then like some people will say things like, oh, well, you don't know if those women are telling the truth. I'm like, okay.
Mm-mm.
Now you're taking away from their own experiences and taking away from things that they've been through. Because it's like, somebody like, oh, you're lying or oh, you're not telling the truth. That can be really offensive
Yeah.
and hurt them a lot. And then also like when people say things, speaking up now, this happened like 20 years ago or whatever, and it's like again, you don't know what they've gone through. Like it's not easy for everyone to just speak up.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, so like that really like it just really bothers me when people like begin to defend them. And also like I tell people like for me, like if an R. Kelly song comes up, because like I like listening to like 90s R&B and stuff, but like if his song comes up in the playlist, I'm gonna skip it immediately because I don't want to listen to his music because I know like all the bad things that he's done. And I was explaining that to someone this one time, and they're like, oh yeah, but like he has a good voice. I was like, okay, cool, he has a good voice, but at the same time, I don't think that excuses pedophilia. So I don't know. To me, it just doesn't make any sense, and I feel like people wouldn't maybe like really understand it until maybe they've gone through it themselves, or it's like happened to someone who's like close to them. But
mm-hmm.
I don't know why people continue to.
Yeah, it's like completely like disgusting. But once again, like it comes back to character. Because if that person can listen to R. Kelly's music without thinking of, oh, like a pedophile wrote this music, like you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it just shows like what they're okay with and shows where their morals are at. You know?
And I think you said that before too, but like if I would know someone like that who's, listening to that music, regardless of the history, definitely I would not hang out with that person anymore because you won't want to support something like that. At least that's what I think, right?
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's
But like yeah, it's just I don't know. It just gets repetitive. I feel like when people like continue to like defend these people or always like what they did is bad, but like you should just end it as what end it at what they did is bad. Like you don't need to add a but into it.
yeah, there's always gonna be an excuse.
Exactly. Yeah, like and then like when you add but, it just takes away, like I said from before, like takes away from what people are, things like so, I don't know. It's just
I think
annoying.
it's trying to like, I think it's always the supporters that are trying to like cover up for their actions. They're like, no, but this person's actually genuinely good. Like they apologize and stuff. But that didn't like excuse them for like their mistakes, right? Like you still
Yeah.
made a mistake.
And typically
So,
when I apologize, it's just because like now it came out like into the media and stuff, and like now they've been.
right.
But really, I don't think they're like really sorry. It's just because they got caught out free. Like if you notice that all the times when they come up with an apology, that's why like I feel like it's just because they know they have to like apologize or whatever. But I feel like it's never really genuine. Sorry. First of all, I feel like you wouldn't have done it in the first place. And okay,
Oh
let's
my
say
god, yeah.
yeah, like let's say it was really just like a mistake or whatever. But even though I don't know, I still think it just goes back to you wouldn't have done it in the first place. I can't defend that honestly.
Bro, and honestly, some of the apologies are so bad. Like, what's that guy's name who was squeezed like tears out of his forehead? I'm blanking.
Oh my god, I don't know. I don't remember. But like it's always really fake too. I think you could tell when someone's being genuine or not. Like if they truly felt bad for what they did, then they wouldn't like come and apologize literally 2 hours later. They'd take some time and reflect on their actions. But some people don't do that, and that part kind of pisses me off. But yeah.
Like PR move honestly, and it's just like what people do to like act as if like oh like we're whatever, but it's like you still messed up, and then like you just come out like you said like 2 hours later and apologize now. But it's like you're not really truly sorry. So that's like I agree with how you said like if they take some time to reflect on it and they actually realize what they also like you said you can tell, especially like if it's a video, like you can tell when someone's being genuine and not like sometimes when people like cry. Just crying to the camera. And when they cry, that makes me more annoyed because I'm like, why are you crying? Like you're the one who did something wrong.
Exactly.
Literally.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
it's. I feel like they're trying to like victimize themselves in a sense. It's like, oh, like you should feel bad for me. Like
Yeah, playing
but,
the victim for
yeah,
sure.
why am I feeling bad for you? You're the one who did something wrong here. But I don't know.
Exactly. They're trying to play it off only to save their like career and something because they know that at that point they know that they were wrong, but then they also can't afford to lose like a following. So they're like, no, but guys, I was like going through something else. But then again, it doesn't excuse you from what you did. So
Yeah, I agree with what you guys said as well. So the next prompt is: do you think that people are easily able to bounce back from cancellation, or it depends on what their quote offense was? So when I few people kind of came into my mind are like Morgan Wallen, Gina Rodriguez, and Camila Cabello, which were all people who like said the N word publicly, and I feel like um, with that, I don't know. I kind of feel like in a sense they kind of have bounced back because like with I feel like with Camila Cabello, I feel like no one remembers that like look at her concerts and like after she like put out her apology or whatever, I feel like no one really remembers it, but I don't really remember her apology. Like I can't really say if I felt like it was.
I honestly didn't even know that she said the end.
yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't.
see, saying like it happened like a while ago, but it was like when it came out. I think like don't quote me on this, but I think it was like it had resurfaced from like past things. Like whenever it came out, she didn't say it. It was like a few years before.
Oh.
I'm not too sure about it, but like that's what I'm saying, like how no one really remembers that anymore, and sometimes even I find myself forgetting about it. And then I was like, oh wait, oh yeah, she did say the N word. Like, why am I forgetting about this? But yeah. And then with Morgan Wallen, like there was a long time when like I would say like, okay, because no, this happened like sometime last year, but like he was like canceled or whatever. But it's like then you had the people on TikTok who were defending him, like, oh, I love him, da 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 da. And it's like, okay, like great for you, amazing. But anyways, and
Yeah.
I saw like a few weeks ago that he has like a concert coming up, and I was like, wait,
Really?
canceled? Yeah, I was like, oh my
Oh
gosh,
wow.
and I was like, I guess not. Like it seems like everyone just kind of forgot about it, but I don't know,
Yeah.
weird. And then even with him, I think I saw it on like GMA, I think, and he like was saying how he was going to some I don't not therapy, but like some what's the word for like when you're like trying to help like self-improvement something, I can't remember the exact word that I'm looking for, but something along those lines to like teach
Mm-hmm.
how to be um like I guess more educated in that sense. Like I guess that's good, but at the same time him putting that out there was also just like for publicity, so that like people are like, oh yeah, like I'm trying to educate myself now, which I mean I hope it's genuine, but
Mhm.
I don't know. At the same time, I feel, and then that thing that everybody said then was like, oh, he was drunk or whatever, like when he said it. But it's like when you're drunk, that's just what you like. The things you say or do when you're drunk, the things that like you really want to do. But
Right.
They
like,
reflect your true thoughts.
yeah, those are your true. That was really an excuse. I was like, that just adds more to it. Like this is what he says in the shadows, like in the dark. It's in his
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
yeah. And then
I
with
think
oh wait, go ahead, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I mean, I was just gonna say that, I think it depends on like how popular someone is. Like
Yeah,
if you have a good following, that's like if your fans are like loyal to you and you have other celebrities that are backing you up, you could definitely like save yourself from being canceled. But if you're like not that well known, or if a lot of people just don't like you for, let's say, like if you're too successful or whatever, then you're definitely not gonna have a good time like getting canceled, because you're gonna be canceled like easily. Because it just depends on like the peer pressure from like the other influencers and stuff too. Because I think do you guys remember when there was like I don't know if this is related or not, but the James Charles scandal where
yeah.
he was like something really bad happened, and so not a lot of people were supporting him, and a bunch of other influencers came out and saying like they were saying like weird stuff. So it just depends on like if you're popular or not too.
Yeah.
With
Totally.
the James Charles thing, like that was kind of what I was thinking about when I was saying how like when people cry like in their apology videos. I think that was like grooming minors or something along those lines. I think
Yeah.
I think it was, yeah, I think that's what it was.
that was a really weird thing as well. But I don't know.
Mhm.
And then what I was gonna say with Gina Rodriguez though is that when she the with her it was like she had a video and she was singing a song by I think Lauryn Hill, and it had like the N word and she said it and like didn't even like think
Oh.
it in the song. And the thing is with that, I feel like okay, before I'd said like, oh, like well, if it was like she was like on a live or something, and then afterwards she's like, oh, oops, like
Yeah.
so like kind of weird. But the thing is with
Mhm.
this one though, it's like she, I like she took the video then posted it, and it's like with that, I
Yeah.
know you rewatched that video before you posted it, so you didn't think there was anything wrong with what you were saying in the video, like that one was.
Yeah.
And then in her apology, she didn't that apology watch it before recording this episode, but like that was really not genuine because she started by saying if I offended you, and like when you say the if, it's just like it just takes it like it's like I don't know how to say it, but like I guess it takes away from the people that you're actually offending. Like she's saying like, oh well, I don't think it's offensive, but if you're so offended, like I'm sorry, but like
Yeah.
Mhm.
just feels forced to apologize. And then after that, like people were saying how like you're not supposed to say if or whatever. So then she put out another apology, and I think, but personally, I think with that one it was just to save face. Like I don't know if it was really genuine.
Okay, honestly, if she started her line by saying "if I offended you," that's clearly like there's no way she has genuine apology.
Definitely, because yeah, she should like if you like whenever you're apologizing to anyone, like in regards to anything at all, you should never start with like if or you should end the apology with like but. Like it should never be like I'm sorry but, or if I offended you, da da da. Like you shouldn't just like simply apologize and like move on and express how you're wrong.
Right, of course.
On to the next prompt though, which is, when someone gets canceled, do you believe that we should distance ourselves from all the things that are associated with them, or just them specifically? So, for example, with like the show Jane the Virgin with Gina Rodriguez, are also brands that endorse those people.
Mm.
I mean, I think you should like if I mean you should just do what like you stand for. So like if she did something wrong and like she wasn't admitting the fact that she was in the wrong, then I would definitely like not support her for a while unless I would truly know that she genuinely meant her apology, which sometimes not a lot of people do. So and you could see that too, like we said before. But I don't really think I would support them for a while. Or maybe like forever, depending on what it was.
Yeah,
Because I won't want to stand by someone that did something terrible and then only support them because, oh, that show is still good and stuff. You know, like, no.
Yeah.
so in a way, half and half on this. Like I get like both sides. I don't think I have like a clear opinion on it per se, but it's like on one hand with the like shows and stuff, or okay, or like brands or anything like that. Well, with that show, it's like they're not the only actor or actress in it, so I feel like the show is also like helping the other actors and actresses in the show who are like good. So that's like why.
Right.
Oh, I guess like in a sense it kind of just depends, because it's like I know after the Gina Rodriguez thing, like I was still watching Jane the Virgin, but then like after like I think I was like in like season 4 or something, I don't know, and then I was like, wait, but like knowing that she's like the main character, I was like, should I like really be like still watching it or whatever?
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I don't know. So that's why it's like I feel like with that one I kind of understand it either way, and then with like brands and stuff, I feel like if it's like a product that's who did something really bad, I would not buy that, because it's like you're like that, and that's you're like really supporting them. But if it's like a brand as a whole and another subunit is maybe partnering with like another person, another celebrity or
Mhm.
something, I guess that I don't know. Like you said, it kind of just depends on what it was that they did or said. So that's why I'm kind of like iffy on that.
Yeah, and it's also like super hard to distance yourself because they're celebrities, right? And they have like spheres of influence everywhere. Like I don't know how to phrase it, but if you accidentally like watch something by whatever, who's it, Gina Rodriguez, and you didn't know, then it's just like you can't control it. And that's the thing with cancel culture. It's like so sensitive. So like if you
Yeah,
got caught watching that and then other people are like, oh, cancel her, she still watched it after that, you know?
yeah,
Right. And the thing with like the products and stuff, like the different companies that would like they would sponsor them and stuff, I feel like after a while they would also like know not to continue the sponsorship because if they would get like so much backlash and stuff, I mean like at the end of the day, all of these companies would want to look out for themselves. So
Yeah.
they would definitely see that like, oh, someone like Gina isn't like really helping us and we don't stand by what she's doing. So we're
yeah.
not going to continue our like partnership. So that would also kind of, I guess, help them realize that what they're doing is wrong. If
Mhm.
they see that like things aren't like going well for them, you know?
I agree. It's kind of all like for them all about like the money in a sense. So like they're gonna do what their best interest, like you said.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
then also with like the whole like you may accidentally be watching something or something that's relating to that person you didn't realize. Like I agree with how like whole cancel culture in itself is sensitive, and you could, like you said, accidentally do something and you didn't even realize, and then people would get on you like, oh, this whatever, but like you probably just really didn't realize. So I don't know. It's
No,
interesting.
like today was the day I realized Camila Cabello did what she did after we
Right.
found
I never knew that. Yeah.
literally no idea. And this whole time I was such a Shramila like stan. Like I was like, yeah, Shawn Mendes and Camila. And they broke up now, which is a good thing. So I could just defend Shawn Mendes separately. Uh but yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah. So yeah, like how you said with that, like that's an example of that. Like people. Um.
Mhm.
So now we're going into the last prompt.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like cancel culture does more good for our society, or do you feel that it just keeps people from saying what they truly feel/think?
Well, I think I don't know. I'm like kind of 50-50 on this because I think we talked about in the beginning, it really helps like everyone know like who everyone is as a person. But at the same time, like what we were talking about with like Jane the Virgin and stuff, like all the other actors might have been good people, right? So it kind of like has a downside to it too, because if you're only like if you stop supporting the show and like so do a bunch of other people, then it's not going to be good for other people that were actually innocent, right?
Yeah, and what if you cancel the wrong person and you had no idea?
Exactly. And you're going to end their whole career too. So, yeah.
I agree. I think like in a way, like you said, I'm kind of like 50-50 on it as well. And I think in a way, I feel like it may bring up like more hidden racist, homophobics, sexist, and xenophobics, because I feel like they'll still have those beliefs, but they won't come out and like say it, because and like I feel like that's kind of like partially even like scarier, because now you never know like what someone could truly be thinking, because they won't like come out and say it for like fear of cancellation or whatever. But then
Mm-hmm.
and then like you could just like have all these people who really think this way, but like they're not say it. And then on the other hand, you'll have the people who like don't really care and they'll still say it or whatever, or do whatever it is. And then but I think that can help in a sense so that they can actually realize what they did is wrong, and so that aren't act like so that people don't act as if like they're still such a good person when in reality they're not.
Very confusing. And I guess it became a thing in our generation, right? Like with social media and stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
So I guess we're still figuring it out. Maybe in the future there'll be a better way to cancel somebody and like not cancel everybody with them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I definitely think that it needs like improvement in a sense, because I feel like the fact that I do think that people are a bit too quick to cancel some people. Like I feel like how I was saying earlier with how if your like opinion is hateful, then obviously that's not okay. But I feel like sometimes when people have an opinion that isn't really hateful, it's just like I feel like it's on like a controversial thing, but it's not like the other side or whatever is hateful or whatever. That's just how it is. But people will like start is different, and also with like with the whole like staying politically correct or things like that. I also feel like sometimes people, especially like in our generation, don't necessarily want to hear the other side's opinions or views. Like, like if you really stand firm with what you think or believe, like that's obviously okay, and you shouldn't take that away. But like at the same time, I feel like you can respect other people for their beliefs and not have to like just come like immediately shun them because they disagree.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure.
Definitely. So this actually brings us to a close of this episode. I really enjoyed recording this episode with you guys.
Yeah, same.
I think it was pretty fun.
Yeah, this was a really like healthy discussion, and I've noticed like all your episodes are like very like informational and
Right.
like
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so I mean, thank you guys so much for joining me on this episode. To my listeners, I appreciate you guys listening to this. Make sure to check out their podcast. Remember, it's JusTeenz, and you can find them on any like podcast, major podcast. I'll link them in the description as well. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This is the end of season 3, so coming back, and I'm gonna say 2 months, maybe less than that, but it's probably gonna be 2 months. Either way, I'll see you guys all very soon. Thanks again for listening, and that's the gist. Bye.
bye guys.
Bye, guys.